People who lost everything in 1929, in 1987, in 2008, they weren't caught off guard. They were warned. The data was public, the signs were obvious in hindsight, and almost every serious economist saw it coming. The real question isn't why they missed it. It's why you'd repeat the same mistake when you can see the pattern laid out right in front of you. Let's start in 1634, the Netherlands. This was a thriving economy, the dominant global trading power of its era, and they had just invented the world's first stock market. And what did investors immediately do with it? They drove the price of tulips to levels equivalent to roughly $200,000 in today's money, not real estate, flowers. The first pattern is rampant investor overconfidence, where people stop asking what something is actually worth and start only asking how much higher the price might go tomorrow. Tulip futures were being traded, paper changing hands, nobody even looking at the underlying flower anymore. Sound familiar? When prices disconnect completely from real value and everyone assumes the market only goes one direction, that is pattern number one, flashing red. Fast forward to the 1920s, and pattern number two emerges clearly: regulatory failure. The Roaring Twenties created enormous wealth through leveraged investment trusts, essentially funds that borrowed heavily to amplify returns. The problem was the government was operating under a hands-off philosophy. They had seen what heavy-handed intervention did during the Panic of 1907, when cracking down on investment trusts too aggressively actually helped trigger a crash. So in the 1920s, they swung to the opposite extreme and barely regulated anything at all. Without guardrails, speculation exploded. Regular people borrowed money to buy stocks. Leveraged funds were trading at double the value of assets they actually held. One writer declared that boom and bust cycles were officially over. And then in 1929, the market collapsed by 89% over the years that followed. 1 in 4 Americans lost their jobs. The lesson here is not that regulation is always good or always bad. It is that when oversight fails to keep pace with new financial activity, instability quietly builds until something breaks catastrophically. Pattern number three showed up in the 1980s, and it is the sneakiest one: a new financial innovation that nobody fully understands. In that era, banks rolled out something called portfolio insurance. Computers would automatically place trades to offset losses if markets fell. It sounded brilliant. Over $80 billion was flowing through these systems by 1987. Banks trusted it, investors loved it, and almost nobody understood the hidden risk. When markets started sliding in August of 1987, the algorithms triggered sell orders exactly as designed. But when everyone's system sells simultaneously, there is nobody left to buy. The market went into free fall on October 19th, 1987, Black Monday, still the worst single-day percentage drop in stock market history. Innovation combined with overconfidence and weak oversight creates a perfect storm every single time. Pattern number four is debt buildup, and 2008 showed exactly how devastating this gets. After the dot-com crash, investors fled volatile tech stocks and piled into housing, which seemed safe. Banks responded by issuing mortgages to practically anyone, then packaging those loans into securities so complex that the banks themselves did not fully understand the risks they carried. Household debt climbed steadily for years. Rates stayed artificially low, encouraging more borrowing. Nobody wanted to stop the party. Not lenders, not regulators, not borrowers. Then on September 15th, 2008, Lehman Brothers collapsed after more than 150 years in operation. Unemployment surged. Entire neighborhoods never recovered. The debt that fueled the boom became the weight that sank everything. Now, here is why these four patterns matter right now. These are not ancient history lessons. They are a diagnostic checklist. Ask yourself these questions about whatever market you are watching today. First, are investors buying things based on momentum rather than genuine underlying value? Second, has a new financial market or asset class emerged faster than regulatory frameworks can adapt? Third, are people pouring money into something innovative without truly understanding what could go wrong? Fourth, is the overall system leaning heavily on borrowed money to sustain current prices? If multiple answers trend toward yes, you are watching the warning signs stack up. And what should you actually do when you recognize these signals? Do not panic sell into cash. Inflation erodes cash holdings during the exact periods when markets crash. Do not try to perfectly time the bottom either, because nobody can do that consistently. And data consistently shows long-term investors outperform market timers. Instead, stay invested, diversify thoughtfully, and if a crash does arrive, recognize that lower prices represent opportunity for people who prepared mentally and financially beforehand. Crashes are genuinely terrifying when you are inside one. But understanding these four patterns transforms that fear into something more useful: awareness. And awareness gives you choices that panic never will. The next one is coming eventually. The only question is whether you will recognize it first.